Press conference, because I know a lot of people heading back to London. Second round destruction from Conor Benn and Chris Van Heerden, another great performance. The man from Essex headlining in Liverpool in front of a big crowd, now Manchester. One of the biggest stars in British boxing, one of the biggest stars in world boxing. We're going to go over to the floor for questions.
Conor, just in terms of how disruptive that was, as Eddie mentioned, what were your immediate reactions after that? Did that go exactly how you thought?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't surprised. I hit him in the first round, it was hard. And you know when it hits someone hard, and you know it hurts him. So, I'm not really surprised, to be honest. That's what I did, that's what I trained hard for. I knocked back to 4 rounds, so I knew he was trying to box me, and it was as tricky as we weren't going to work. Eventually, we catch up.
There's been rumblings of the Hearn fight being happening next. Obviously, you got in the ring afterwards. What did you make of that experience in the ring with him? Were you actually realistic?
I don't think so, no, not too explicit. He's done what he's had to do. I saw a few articles really saying that he fancies a fight with him. So I thought we'd get him in there to express things, his feelings, which weren't there. So, it's fine. Listen, I'm on a different trajectory in this year, and the only way's up.
Do you feel unfair they've got booed in there tonight? It's a bit sad to see someone like that get that sort of treatment afterwards.
Of course it is. I mean, listen, he's a former world champion. He's the young five for the achievement sport of boxing. So I wasn't very got booed, but it is about right now.
Being to yourself, you've always said it's fine anymore. Just put in front of anyone.
I'm too fussy. You know what I mean? Yeah. I work hard, this is what I work hard for. I train to fight everyone, I fight south, I walk for box, I punch, I move, I whatever. They really don't pay me.
Prior to the fight, Chris said that was the best fight in the sport. Did you speak to the fight compared to the
Again, talking is cheap, it doesn't matter what people say, what people think about it. And I say I'm the best right away, people do this well. That's what I believe in. So it doesn't matter what he says or what Jerry says or what anyone else says. I believe I'm one of the best flyweights out there in the world. So everyone's got input to this stage. It's a matter of discrimination, it's a matter of inches and difference. And I've been up there for a minute, so I don't know.
What do you want?
I'm not honestly fussed. I fight well. I will. I fight well. It's how we get higher up rankings. Obviously we've got the gas next fight tonight. So, do
you expect to finish like that?
Not that early. I said that if Van Heerden could get past 4 or 5 rounds, it could be interesting, but Conor's a beast, even from the first bell, just really give him a second. And that's what you've got to do to him, especially to older fighters that have been a little bit inactive. You've got to set about them. And that's why he's so exciting. He took a few in the first round, but to land several more. And already after the first round, he went back to the corner thinking, what the fuck have I signed up for this? And obviously in the second round, he just got absolutely destroyed. So there'll always be criticism, but no one's done that to Chris Van Heerden. But what that does show by dealing with a fighter of that quality, that easily, is it's time. It's time to move up, and it's time to move on. And the progression's been incredible. And as I said earlier, it would be absolute madness to get to world championship level having never faced a southpaw. For his development, I think that was really important, and it was another brilliant performance.
So that's certainly what combination of Conor's mentioned Keith Hearn before is a big fight today happening with Dazn and Errol Spence Jr. What can realistically happen?
Well, tonight actually we're supposed to fight Maurice Hooker, which is actually a really good fight. And if we fight sooner rather than later, that could be another name that comes in. But if we wait till later in the summer, Mikey Garcia, Danny Garcia, Keith Hearn and Adrian Broner, these are all massive fights that fill up the O2. But I feel that he's ready for those guys. It's nerve-wracking, because they're another level to the opposition we'll be facing. But he's been breezing through this opposition. And it's really down to Tony to say, Conor would fight anybody. He wouldn't even have to go to him to ask. But it will be Tony's decision to look at it and say, yes, the perfect step now at the perfect time. So it doesn't really matter. I can tell you fights that will fill the O2 and pay Conor Benn a load of money. But this man will be the one that says yes, or maybe one more, and so on.
Conor, when Eddie mentions about putting against an American name, there's also the other side of it is you could break America as well. Eddie's obviously got Matchroom USA, absolutely flying. Is that something that's on your radar as well?
Definitely, but I won't keep it for the British public for the time being. I want them to, really see a progression. And they have, it's a blessing to be fighting around the country, fighting in Liverpool, Leeds, Manchester. It's a blessing. Still ain't for the Newcastle.
Yeah, but also when you look at it, every fighter that's drawing a big crowd in the UK right now is at the back end stage of his career. Even AJ he's still got plenty of fights there, but Tyson Fury, Kell Brooks just fought, he's virtually done Chris Eubank. He doesn't draw the same crowd as Conor, but at the same time, he is at the back end of his career. Conor's a young man, Conor's got 5-6 years left in the sport. So that's why it's really important to keep him in the UK as well, because the headline acts of British boxing, they're actually filling arenas, are coming to the back end of his career. There's no one his age in the UK, there's actually not really anyone in the UK outside of AJ and probably Tyson Fury who are capable of boxing every city and drawing good solid crowds. So I want to keep him in the UK, but of course we have the ability to put him in the US anytime we want. But also, making a lot of money, wants to make even more money, and to do that, we want him in the UK headlining in big fights.
Conor, in that sense, I just talk about, going back to the opportunity, like, as you see, you've been a road warrior going around and North the big lads, what would it mean to you to go back to the likes of the O2 and pull it out against the big guys?
I don't know, mate, because listen, a ring's a win for me. I'll fight anyone anywhere, I fight anyone in a telephone boxing. There could be Mickey Mouse and Bomb Ducks and you're in a fight, it could be anywhere, it could be a car park, you're not focused on that, on where it is, the location, you're just focused on getting the job done and beating the other man up convincingly. When I'm in there, I'm just focused on my opponent. But fighting back in London would be great, great for the fans, great for the supporters. But it don't matter to me where I fight, as long as it's in the UK. It's overwhelming the love I get shown when it comes to Manchester, Liverpool. I'll never get used to it. Let's put it like that. I went out there and I went to Luke, I'll never get used to this. The love, people waiting around for me, and it's just what do I do? It's just nice, it really is nice.
Hey Conor, Eddie mentioned some great names. He says if you want to go maybe later, what would you want? Like, I know things can change, but in an ideal situation, who would you pick now? Who would you pick?
It would make sense for me, Brooks number one in the rankings. I don't know about now, but he is number one in the ranking in terms of Britain. He's former world champion. He's just come off a great win card. He's highly ranked in the world rankings. That makes sense for me in terms of progression in my career because he's ranked not too fast about the card fight. The reason I've got him in was for him to express them feelings that he's said in other interviews about him wanting to fight me. But now we know it's not the case in black and white. So Kelvin will probably be my go-to, and then obviously you've got Keith Hearn, Danny Garcia, Mikey Garcia. I'm not too interested in Maurice McCarthy. He's of the same level as Heerden. I think the Danny Garcias and Mikey Garcias, you guys fighting tonight, those are the sort of names I want. But listen, I'll let them do the matchmaking, I'll do the fighting, and as long as I keep beating something we'll do.
Because it looks like Brooke might be one further down the line. Is that you about to fight the catchment?
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But I don't know, you've got a welterweight fighter. I think it's another compliment to Kell Brooks as well. Don't forget, when we were negotiating to talk about Brooke Hearn, I dropped that offer and I said to Amir Khan, let's just make the Conor Benn fight. And it's not that he was scared of Conor Benn, but he didn't want a young, fucking horrible pest in the ring that was just going to brutalise him. He wanted to fight someone who was probably looking for a payday as well. But then after that, now we said to Kell Brooke, we've offered him the same money that he made to fight Amir Khan, and he asked for £10 million. I mean, that tells you all he says. And now, Kell Brooks looking to fight Chris Eubank Jr. at 158, rather than fighting Conor Benn at his weight. We'd take that fight at 150, no problem. So that shows you again, it's the compliments to Conor Benn. Because what they're looking at, and they're looking at him and going, he's a fucking horrible, spiteful motherfucker. So you've got to give him 10 million quid to get in with that horrible, spiteful motherfucker. I'll fight Chris Eubank Jr. instead at £158. What? Instead of him? What a compliment. A couple of years ago they were laughing at him, going, I'll fight Conor Benn, oh blimey. Now they're asking for 10 mil to fight Conor Benn.
Do you find that the matchmaking is going to get more difficult than it
More difficult and more expensive.
Eddie, you can't make one of the big ones. What about the winner of Tyre versus Stanley Willis? What about
The Tyre against.
Stanley Willis?
I mean, look, this is like the same question as David Avanesian, right? Really good fighters, zero profile. And you know, they think I'm being rude about that. I'm not being rude. I'm giving them the credit of saying really good fighters. But if you've got Stanionis, if you've got David Avanesian, and you've got Mikey Garcia, and they're all the same level, and Mikey Garcia pays you 3 times more than Stanionis and David Avanesian, what are you going to do?
But what if you can't make that?
No, but then we look at those guys. But it's my job to make those fights, and I will make those fights. But if we can't, we don't have a problem looking at those fights. But it's risk reward. They're all the same level.
I mean, one of us going to have the regular title.
Fuck the regular title. Fuck the regular title. Because you win a regular title, oh, you ain't a world champion. So, yeah, I love Gilberto Mendoza, and he's messaged me tonight saying we want Conor Benn to be our guy. We want him to fight for the world title. But I'm right, you know, they're trying to all of a sudden consolidate the belts anyway. But Stanionis for the WBA title, regular title, that's a really tough fight. You won't even get the credit of becoming a world champion. So you might as well go and fight Errol Spence or Terence Crawford.
But if you want to get to the world level, I want to see the fight.
No, because no one knows, no one's heard of Stanionis apart from you. I bet half the people in this room haven't heard of Stanionis. I'll do Stanionis at the O2 and we'll sell 5,000 tickets in an absolute war against a bloke no one's ever heard of. Or what about if I Adrian Broner and we fill up 20,000 and he makes a couple of million quid? That's what we want to see. Or Stanionis, like, you've got to let me play the game.
I haven't spoken to my dad, actually. I don't know, I need to. I just realised. He's probably over the moon. Yeah, I don't think he expects anything less. He expects nothing less.
Right, guys, one more question.
God.
I was going to ask, we talk about all of these compliments that everyone's giving you by avoiding you. How do you deal with that frustration? How does that motivate you to push through your career?
I'm not really frustrated because at the end of the day I'm not really fazed by anyone else or what they think. I'm on a good trajectory at the minute of my career and you know, I'm in a great position. I'm doing what I need to do. You know, I ain't really concerned about what anyone else says because it ain't relevant. It don't matter. I know I'm doing the right thing. I'm clearly doing the right thing because I'm sitting here right now doing this interview undefeated. And it's not just doing it undefeated, it's how I look doing it. So I'm clearly doing the right thing. All you other people who are chasing me or hunting me down, all you want is baby, you want baby. And I ain't giving it to them because while they're making what they're making, I'm making what I'm making. And I'm knocking people out.
But we saw Khan's face when he came into the ring, he did not want any of that.
No, I know, but I thought I'd give him the opportunity to come here and express because I thought if he goes there and fancy it, then you know it's a done deal. But
He didn't
he
want
don't.
it.
But you can't blame him because at the end of the day, if I was him, I fancy it. I'm genuinely. Who needs that now? Who needs me in their life?
Right, guys, great night, great talk.
The video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, from title, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.